Hello YouTube, it is Damien. It is the BVB rebuild. It is Dortmund. It is episode 3 and today we have got the final 3 league games of the season to see if we will finish in a Champions League spot, a Europa League spot, or we have to go through qualifying to find some European football. Also, in today's episode, and before we get started into these 3 games, I am going to talk about youth intake, what my views are with the youth intake this year, or in this save, sorry, and then, just show you a bit of the class plays that we did come through. Important to note that this episode was meant to be just these 3 games. Let's focus on them. My sister has to take a car to a crash repairer. I'm home. It's Monday. I'm going to take her so she doesn't have to taxi it around to work and whatever. So we're going to just make use of the time beforehand to talk about a few of the young 16-year-olds who came in and what is going to work for us in terms of youth intake this year in this save. So important to note that we actually got our own, got the youth intake before I joined the club. We obviously joined in middle of March, and with me being from Denmark, I was like, oh yeah, great, late March, we'll get them on the 28th or whatever, and we'll see what the youth is, and I'll put it in the YouTube episode. Didn't realise till a few days ago that, hang on a second, youth intake actually comes out on the 1st, 2nd, 3rd of March in Germany, and, well, we've missed out on what was a very good youth intake here. You look at the under-19s where all these guys are, bar Gittins, you've got some really good youth intakes. Also important to note that I'm Australian. Dortmund are linked to a few Australian clubs. They get in a lot of Australian regions. There's a few guys that have come through that Australian that are really exciting for me, and it'll be interesting to see how these players develop. Important to note that we do start with Giddens, that he's been sensational, getting him in around the first team, and I am going to probably do the same thing with Namindi Collins. 6'2", but a guy who's 6'2", has got 18 acceleration, 17 pace. There is worth putting time and effort into growing the guy, because if he does grow into anything that's a decent technical football with some decent mentals, with those physicals, he would become world class, because players just won't be able to beat him for pace in behind, and he would be physically really decent. So I'm going to get him in and use him as a 4th, 5th choice centre-back next year. There is still emphasis on, bleeding youth through here. Dortmund want to have the best youth academy in Germany. It's one of their visions. Dortmund also want us to play younger footballers, for the first team, and bring younger footballers through the academy. Players like Ndindi Collins and Giddens, who, are got great attributes and could become really good, are definitely going to get game time. Then there's the guys that actually came through the youth intake, and we've got to be really excited. Andreas Egerman is one, love the name, 5'11", bit more of a defensively minded midfielder, a great natural tackler of the football. He's the sort of guy that in my system here at Dortmund at the moment, he doesn't really fit, but he's also the sort of guy that could play a box-to-box midfielder decently well, because you look at the stats, there's a lot of 7s, 9s that would become, with these youth facilities, 12, 13s, pretty easy, and with first-team football could become really decent. He's the sort of guy that's already been cut by Germany's under-19s. I reckon this is the sort of guy that, we've got through our academy, loan him out for a couple of years, and if we still haven't won the league, he could feature at 18, 19 being a rotation player, and if we still haven't won the league within 5 seasons, because Dortmund Bayern are that good, this is the sort of guy that could probably feature as a 20-year-old in the first team, would be really good for us. So keep your eye out on Andreas Egerman, and you know what, keep your eye out on future youth intakes, because they're going to be good ones. Next one is Anthony O'Brien, an Australian that can play anywhere down the spine. This guy is something special. He's got good determination, but mentally, for a footballer at 16, is pretty incredible. He's got the right attributes in the right areas. A little bit small to probably play at centre-back, to be fair, but a pretty decent midfielder. He's also another one of these guys that you look at and go, you could play a box-to-box midfielder because of the tackling you've got. You also could play as a roaming playmaker because you've got good mentals as well. I feel like most roaming playmakers don't need very good physicals, and he doesn't have that just yet, but with his development, he could play in the roaming playmaker or in the box-to-box midfielder role in the middle. He's also one of those guys that if he ever played a pressing forward, would be really good. He's a pressing forward that could set up the line a little bit deeper, press that little bit deeper in the line of engagement, but with those mentals could be an outstanding pressing forward. It's just be interesting to see what the physicals do. He's also one of those midfielders that love to get forward whenever possible, which makes me rule him out there at centre-back, but he's also a guy that if he developed physically and developed his technicals, he could be a really good right-back. You look at the guy as a right-back, in this system, if you looked at it, right-back here as a full-back or a wing-back on support, if you looked at it, I think that there is a footballer there. at right back. I think if you grew those physicals, he's already got pretty decent technicals and good mentals to play at a right back. Loves to get further forward anyway. We play in a system that's so narrow and needs so much width from our wing backs and our full backs, sorry. Look, get him going, and I think Anthony O'Brien could be a really, really, really good fullback. Goalkeeper as well, very good to have a keeper in with 20 determination. Only problem for me is that Matthew Obihu, who's come from New Zealand, which is interesting of all places. I know that they have Australian ties. I didn't know if they had New Zealand ties. 20 determination, which is great. Unfortunately, only just 6 foot, which makes him a little bit small. Plus, he's got only 3 strength as a keeper. Look, if he technically became a monster, you could see it. I can see why he's got good potential, and I'm glad that he has so determined and he's driven to do it. And he's either-footed, which is great. But, there's a few things that aren't overly great. But he's 15, and that gives him time. His passing isn't great. He lacks a little bit of strength. And there's technical things that I would love to see a little bit better on him. But at the same time, he's 15. It'd be interesting to see what he is at 16, 17, how far he's developed. And if he's developed quite a bit by the time he's 15 to 17 just through training, then he's the sort of guy that with first-team football, on loan, he could grow into a pretty good keeper at a Bundesliga level. And then we've got a couple other guys here. We're not going to go through all the 4-star guys, just the 5-star guys. Justin, fullback, he looks very good as well. This guy looks like an out-and-out fullback. Good determination. Physically, he's okay. You can see that he's going to be decently quick. He's 15 years of age. Guys' physicals at 15, 16, 17, 18 grow rapidly, and then after that, it just is a steady growth. So a lot of these kids will be physically pretty decent, you would imagine, by the time they turns 18. This is the sort of guy with this determination, decent mentals as well, and he's also got decent marking, decent tackling for a young kid at 15. This is the sort of guy with the right growth through playing under 19s football, playing reserves football, going out on loan, maybe in years 17, years 18, to places that have good training facilities that play in first-team football. This is the sort of kid that also could feature in years 3, 4, 5 of this save if we're still here. And lucky last is a Wolfgang Wenzel. I love the name Wolfgang. Physically, at 15, unreal. This Austrian kid physically will be a monster by the time he's ready. You got to think back to Lars and Wirtz, right, at SFB. Lars physically did not look that good at 15, 16 when he came out of the academy. He wasn't. And you look at him now as a wonder kid at 20. He's physically absolutely amazing. He's got like that 17 acceleration. They're all basically gold, right? Those golden 14-plus stats. This kid is determined. He's professional. He's left-footed, which I love as well. And we can get that finishing composure up. His passing and vision is not too bad as well. I expect this kid to become really good. I really think out of everybody, Wolfgang Wenzel, because of the physicals at 15 years of age, is going to turn into one of those strikers that is just going to be physically absolutely unbeatable, right? And he's going to be someone that, even within 2-3 seasons, will probably be in and around my bench with Makoku and whatever else has come through the club at the same stage that could play left, that could play right, and can play up top because they're just physically absolutely amazing. It'll be another great option to have. So for me, those guys all the way through here really have a lot of time on their hands to do whatever. You've got other guys that are not too bad. Anyone that's got like more than 2-star, he usually aren't too bad as well. But, these guys here, they really are the creme de la creme, and I really think they could be really good. I just don't think there's no point getting him into the first team just yet, unless Giddens, because Giddens does give me immediate cover for Sancho, because they're like for like, and he's growing so well physically, already ready for the level. But everybody else, it's worth keeping him in the 16s, just growing the 19s, just growing him. And I hope they will continue to grow and be really good. Anyway, that's going to end the first part of this episode. We'll be back after taking my sister to the crash repairers and to work to do Leipzig mains and Bayern 04. For you guys, it'll be just like that. For me, it might be about half an hour or so of driving, and we will see where we will finish. Is it going to be 4th? Is it going to be 3rd? Is it going to be 6th? Is it going to be 7th? Is it going to be any one of those? Or are we even going to somehow... I doubt we're going to drop out altogether to Berlin because they haven't been great. But, let's go find out. Give me a prediction down below. Give it a timestamp of, we're 9 minutes in. You give me a timestamp at 9 minutes where we're going to finish. And I will be back with Leipzig at home in a massive game. That would probably determine if we're going to play European football in a group stage competition in the Europa League or be in the fight for the Champions League. Win that one, it's all on the table. Lose that, it's going to be pretty difficult to make the Champions League. It's time to take on Leipzig. We have come back from dropping my sister off to the crash repairers and then work, and now it is time to play Leipzig in a massive game that will define if it's going to be Europa League or Champions League football this year. As you can see, other results around the grounds have come in. Cologne did win their last game that they played, which is a 4-0 win over Freiburg, which puts them ahead of us by a point. A draw here today puts us back in 6th. I think it's really important to finish 6th, 5th or 4th. 7th, you go into the Euro 2. It's just a dumb competition to be in if you're Dortmund. For me, I'd rather be Europa League qualifying in 6th, but really I'm targeting 5th or 4th and looking to get straight into the group stage of the Europa League, which would be excellent, considering we're 9th, or the Champions League was beyond my wildest dreams, but the fact that Bayer 04 and Leipzig have screwed the pooch in the last few days and we got to play both of them in today's episode, it is not out of the realms of possibility that we do finish 4th and get Champions League football in our first full year here as Dortmund manager. We are going to go into this game at pretty good full strength. As you can see, Cologne did win just 4-0 there to jump us as well. But, we look pretty decent in terms of how we should be setting up for this one here. Thomas Meunier didn't have the best of game last game out, and I sacked him for it. I'm going to put him back in today because he's natural in this role. But apart from that, everyone else is in. Rafael Guerrero finally fully fit, and this will be his first full start for me as well. Berkey has been really good of late. He's a very good shot stopper, to be fair to Berkey, but just at 30 on 100k a week, I think I can get a better keeper in. I'm going to definitely still sell. Meunier, Akanji, Hummels together have a very good understanding, and Akanji's very quick. There will be a day that Zagadou just comes in and stays in, but it's not yet. It's not with the season on the line. Rafael Guerrero at wing-back with Witzel and Jude Bellingham in the middle. If you're Renya, who's been growing sensationally, by the way, I can't rate this guy enough. I'm so excited to use the 18-year-old from America. I think he's going to be fantastic. Look, ideally, my best midfield two, personally, is Bellingham in the box-to-box because he's good at tackling and can go up and down, and Renya's the roaming playmaker, just running around doing whatever he wants to do because he's just so good in doing it. But we'll wait and we'll see. He's also very good in the shadow striker role and is probably the heir to Royce's throne, but Royce is still king here and still sitting on his throne and he ain't going anywhere. But Koku has been really good in the inside forward role. I cannot rate this guy enough, even though I've only barely used him. We've put him on this narrow system. I haven't really got inside forwards to really score, but because we're playing this so narrow 4-2-3-1, it's like playing three strikers without playing three strikers, and he just bangs them in, man. He's just going next level, and I can't rate him enough. He's probably one of the best updated, put into the database players I've ever seen. I know that I'm signing in Gabriel Barbosa to play on that side, only because Gabriel Barbosa is so good and I've never used him. And there's a part of me that wishes I didn't do that, to be fair, because Mokoku, since that signing, has just been next level. And to be fair, at 16, 17, 18 years of age, probably deserves to play a lot of minutes. But, Gabriel Barbosa is someone I can bring in, and if we lose Haaland, can play up top, and it'll be okay. Anyway, Sancho on the other side is standard with Royce in behind, with Haaland, who's been in sensational form in the complete forward role up top. It is a very strong Dortmund side, but we're playing a Leipzig side that probably deserve Champions League football themselves and find themselves... they really should not have been brought into this scrap. They've dropped games recently that haven't been great. And, they're a team that's so good. It's a team that I obviously know in real life because Liverpool just took them out. But, Gulassi, Petter, a goalkeeper that I've said previously, going for the Liverpool Academy, I didn't think was going to be good enough to play for Liverpool. I really wish Liverpool still had him because obviously a great keeper. Daya obviously is leaving, joined Bayern obviously as well. Konate's in there, Mukelele's in there, Lamir's pretty good. Angelino obviously from City. Dominic's in the middle. Wow, that's big. Danny Olmo's there. This is a team. A young Kluivert, Frostberg's off the bench. It's a very good Leipzig side. And that's the thing, is that on Football Manager, about 3, 4, 5 years in, Leipzig start turning over some big transfer profit and they get some big name players in and they get some really good youth coming through and they develop. That, when you get to that 3, 4, 5 year period that the youth that they started to bring in first two seasons starts coming to fruition, it starts approaching the first team, Leipzig are the team that usually challenges Bayern the most, not Dortmund. Well, I definitely found that in Denmark. I found that last year with Metz, and then Hertha Berlin came along and just incredible too. But yeah, look, this is a Leipzig side that we have to take seriously. They're playing a narrow system, which I don't mind. Dominic there looks unbelievable. I can't rate this guy enough. I really rate him. 18 million. is so cheap for him. He's unreal. I highly recommend if you can get him as well. You got Kevin Campbell, Forsberg on the bench as well. Enrique knows what he's doing on loan from Monaco. He's the sort of guy that I would scout, and if it was really cheap to pick up, would be a really good backup right or wing back that can play in most places as well. They got Klosterman, who, Klosterman is one of those guys that we know on FIFA, unreal, right? But he's also one of those guys that I personally would not mind as backup because he's so quick and he just understands that he's got good long throws, that he does everything that I kind of need him to do, Klosterman, for a fullback for me. But and the three at the back obviously are so unreal. Like this is a Leipzig side that deserves Champions League football as well. It's a good time to play him because obviously they lost to Stuttgart, which we did highlight last episode. It comes down to whoever executes the best here today, and we are, of course, looking for all 3 points. We know if we win all 3 games today, boys, we finish a minimum 5th, if not 4th. We would finish 4th. It's in our hands. If we win all 3 games, get 9 points, we would have knocked off Leipzig and Bayer 4 and got ourselves into the 4th spot role. We know if we draw or lose a game in this episode, that it's out of our hands. We need results to go our way to get Champions League. But really, I'm not going to play for it, but I really would not mind if we finished 5th and we're in the Europa League. I think it's just good to do a rebuild. I can definitely then get more youngsters playing. I can maybe even buy a few younger players that aren't ready yet, because the Europa League, we don't have to go as full strength, and we probably still win a lot of games. And then, anyway, early highlight was there for Mokoku, who put one wide. And we've hit the bar there from Hummels after the free kick went in. Also, the referee's wearing red. That makes no sense. But 0-0, 25 minutes played. A good start from us, but no goal to show from it. We are playing against a very good Leipzig side. You need to score when you're on the ascendancy, because they can turn it on at any minute. Anyway, Mukiele does well. Good positioning here from Haaland, because he's forcing him. He can't come out this way. He's forcing him one way. And in the end, we forced him one. If we can get the press across, which we didn't, Mokoku a bit slow there to get across, it would have been good shape from us. Anyway, Clive, what a run. And that is Berkey should have done a lot better. That's why Berkey needs to go. He's a great shot stopper, great run from Cliver, and against the run of play, Leipzig lead 1-0. But really, a better keeper makes a save here. Look, the press initially was good, and then Mokoku probably just got caught being a little bit too high. And in the end, Hummels just gets beat, and that's too much. And look, Berkey's positioning horrid. Gives him the hole near stick, gets hands and pushes it in. But he really should just come out at feet, make himself big, and that is an easy save. As things stand, we would still be 7th here, and it would be out of our hands to finish wherever we finish, but hopefully a point will come of it, and away we go. Mokoku, Witsel, Royce can cut one again to Witsel, hits it, what a save by Gulashi in goals. And look, at the moment, we've been the better team here at home. Unfortunately for ourselves, though, nothing to show from it, and Dominic Sabitzer just picked one hit. And Dominic, ball to Poulsen, on the break, down one end, a keeper makes a great save. Down the other, we find ourselves 2-0 down to Leipzig. We are very unlucky to be 2-0 down, you would have to say, but we're sinking without a trace, and we look like losing our first game in charge as Dortmund manager. In the end, we had a chance. Witsel should have, I don't think he did anything really too wrong. Witsel just didn't put the ball in the back of the net. And we find ourselves 2-0 down in a game that, we've been very even with them. Anyway, another highlight here. And Lemire throws, but in the end, they're giving the ball back to us. Must have been an injury somewhere. Anyway, Guerrero chips it in towards Sancho's channel. Finds him. Sancho byline cuts Royce. A lifeline back into it. Marco Royce, a man that is Dortmund through and through, fires us into a 2-1 deficit, but gives us a lifeline, Let's get in, half-time, 2-1, get a little bit of aggression into the boys, hopefully find the second after half-time, and who knows, maybe win it. So Mokoku came off the field injured, and we scored with 10 men. That's unreal. But yeah, Mokoku's going to come off here at half-time. Don't concede now. Mukiele hit the bar, and the Konate's put it in. You know what? This is one of those games where foot managers is like, yeah, you lose. This is one of those games where football managers like, yeah, you lose. That's what's going on here. Ouchie wowie, man. Ball in, great volley, hits the bar, falls Konate, and it goes in. And just when you don't want to concede, we concede one. Jude Bellingham's ball in. Haaland's not getting on that. And it's now, if they hit us on the break, I'll be livid. Witsel wins the ball. Back in the Jude, into Royce. Munier now. Can he whip one? Does eventually. Witsel What a crazy end to the second half, to the first half here. Few goals flying in between the 40th and 45th, and now it's 3-2. It's important to only be down by one goal here at half-time. In the end, Munier eventually gets the ball in here. It was a bit long to take him to get it in there, but a good ball once it came in. And Witzel from the box-to-box midfielder role, getting in the box, heads home, an important goal. And we still have a lifeline in this game. And at half-time, we've been it's been even, very even. Arguably say we're probably a little bit unlucky to be 3-2 down. The expected goal ratio is 0.9. They've scored 3 goals. Kind of sums it up here. Show a bit of desire. I didn't get too aggressive because we did score again towards the end there. But Koku's going to come in for Renya. Renya is good enough to cut in from either wing. He's right-footed, but he can do a job out there. But I'm tempted to almost do that as well and get Renya on the other side and Sancho coming in on the others. I think that's what we're going to do. All right, Sancho moving to the right because he hasn't had too much joy. He did create the goal for Royce, but apart from that, I haven't really seen him get on it. Highlight from kickoff. We cannot afford to concede here from kickoff. And Angelino on the ball. Back to Upamecano. Into Dominic. Sancho's ball. Good press down Angelino. Good switch out to Renya. He can face and play Guerrero, which he does. Gets it back again now. And he can run at people. Renya, the wonder kid. Still going with it. Still going with it in the end. That's pretty tame. A pretty poor effort. But a warning shot 30 seconds into the second half. Now it's just all about if we can find that third. Nervous sip of the coffee. 55 minutes played, a throw-in for Lamia. Dominic on it. Their midfield's been really good. I think Jude Bellingham's been pretty poor today. We might go to Delaney. And I know that's not an attacking move, but what it is, Delaney's a ball winner. Getting that ball back allows us to obviously get on the ball and create. Instead of getting another aggressive player on, may not need it. Anyway, Royce had options to play, didn't. Jude Bellingham wins it back. Just as I slayed him. Well done for winning that ball back. The ball in's blocked. Munier now can whip one, which he does. Back stick. Renya! Oh, just heads wide. He got a good leap in too. Got a good run at that one at the back stick. As it stands though, 3-2 down, arguably been the better team. Another highlight. We've got the foot on the throttle now. We've got the foot on the throat. Haaland isn't going to win that. I think that was meant for Sancho, to be fair. It was under hit. But now it is Leipzig on the ball, and we've already seen it once. They are very good when they are on it, and in the end, they've built up pretty well there. And Upamecano can face forward, plays backwards to Mukiele, but can face forward again, and Lamia can now go with it. Poulsen now, good ball to Dani Olmo. We need our lines to be a little bit closer together, and in the end, it's chipped towards Adams, who's going to get on that. Good ball in, Poulsen's there, it's game over. We're not winning it from here. Don't really have too much on the bench that I can really go to here, is there? Get Forgan has it up top with Haaland. We can do that. Renya, 2 inverted wing backs, that's fine. Get Emre Can probably at full back here because he's a bit more of a midfielder. We'll go to that. Look, we just got to throw the bus now. We can't afford to lose. We have to draw at a minimum. And to be fair by the stats, we've been unreal. But we're getting, not FM, I would say, because Leipzig have been really good. And every time they've gone forward, looked like scoring. But it just hasn't been our day. Has it really? Everything's flowing in for them. Anyway, Emre Can, Hazard's on the bench, had to get there first, We brought him in, fresh legs, has to get there first with his pace. Witzel, can he win it? He does. Hazard now. Needs to find Haaland through the channel. He's had a quiet day. Haaland now. Ball to Sancho. Has to whip. Angelino's off. That's a red. Brought him down. It's got to be a pen. Angelino should be off. He's kind of walking away sneakily, trying to get away from the play. But he should be off. He knew exactly what he was doing. We need to score this penalty. Angelino needs to get sent off. And we're going to have 10, 12, 14 minutes to find a way back into it. Angelino should get a red here. Talk to him, referee. Wants a word of Angelino. This should be a red. He pulled him back cynically. Is his second yellow? He's off. All right. Haaland, ever a time to step up and score. Haaland versus Gulashi. Hits the inside of the post and in. We have 12 minutes to get it back to 4-4. And who knows that if we can score one before the 85th, could we win it? Haaland, great pen. Inside of the post. Keeper never getting onto that. Peter B. All right. Highlight straight away. Set piece. Good from these. Guerrero short. Sancho. Ball to Renya. Can he whip one? Might go for goal. It's through Galashi and in. We scored 2 goals in 2 minutes and it's 4-all. And all of a sudden the Champions League dream's alive because we got 10 minutes against 10 men to find a 5-4 lead. In the end, a variation. Sancho played it through to Renya. And in the end, the substitute, the wonder kid, off the bench. To be fair, both keepers have now made a mistake because Berkey for their first goal and Galashi there, both should have done better. In the end, though, we go back into 6th, equal points of Cologne with a better goal difference. Is there going to be a highlight late doors? Time's kind of ticked. They've sat really deep. And in the end, I think that's disappointing that we haven't found a highlight there against 10 men. We'll take a 4-all draw from 4-2 down with 12 to play. But in saying that, once we make it to 4-all in the 81st, I really do think with 10 minutes or so, we really should find a highlight to make it 5-4. In the end, look, we would say Leipzig were a little bit lucky to score 4 on the day, but at the same stage, they were clinical on the ball. I thought we were really good, bit open at the back, but apart from that, really good. And look, you've done brilliant to come back. I'm going to keep the motivation high. You know, we could have laid down, we could have stopped, we could have just said that's game over at 4-2. We didn't, and we came back into it and got a very important point because that puts us 2 behind Bayer 04, who we can leapfrog on the final day. Right, but it also puts us ahead of Cologne on goal difference, which at a minimum, as long as we win, as long as we win at least one of these next 2 games, we should be okay. Who have Cologne got on the run in? They've got Hertha Berlin and Schalke. They could lose both of those games and we'll be fine. So, a very important point there. We are going to go into the next game here against Mainz. I'm not going to film that one here for the YouTube. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the goals afterwards. And then we'll get into the Bayer 04 game on the final day where it will determine if we finish 4th, 5th, 6th, technically 7th. But it'll be interesting to see where we will end up. And hopefully it will be in a Champions League spot or 5th and in the Europa League group stage without having to go through qualifying. Welcome back, YouTube. As you can see on screen, we just played Mainz and did win 3-1. Big news out of the camp. Haaland has been injured in the game. However, I have given him an injection for the last game of the season. As you can see, though, the young boy, the man that is tutored to be one of the best going around in the future of world football. Moukoko stepped up big in a game that we needed him to. We didn't start particularly great, conceding inside 20 minutes, but we did score straight from kickoff. Moukoko's goal from kickoff is quite a goal before we went out and then destroyed him and got home with a win. We did slightly rotate, not rotate too much in the end. And we did look pretty good in what we did do. And at the end of the day, we needed to go out there and win, and we did. As you can see, you can tell I played a game without you guys watching because I had the speed on very, very quick. TV, let's just go to TV. No, it's going to make me go back into goals again. I hate Football Manager when it does this, man. Like, they need to patch this. I watch the goals. Here we go. From a set piece, corner, backstick, header. Well, it was a great ball in by Pusic, to be fair, but yeah. We never should be 1-0 down to Mainz. In the end, Moukoko gets the ball, beats one, beats a second, and from the angle just buries it into the bin, into the top bin. Unreal. Haaland getting injured in the build-up as well as the centre-back went through him. We then scored from a corner. Sancho gets the ball, gets tackled, falls to Guerrero, who lays it into Moukoko's path. And we go and make it 3-1 from a Royce free kick. That's absolutely delightful, lovely, and all things that you love to see. And Royce made it 3-1, and it stayed that way. Did hit the post and the bar about 4 or 5 times in the game as well. We really deserved to win. We didn't deserve to lose. Unfortunately for us, though, Leipzig scored super late in the game that we needed them to drop. Wolfsburg, they're at home, and they're a great side, Leipzig, right? But Wolfsburg ahead of them on the table. We needed Wolfsburg to do me a favour, and they did it. In the end, 88th minute, Poulsen fired him into the lead, which keeps them ahead of us. And for us to finish in the Champions League, that is massive. We do go 3 points ahead of Cologne, so no matter what, we won't finish lower than 7th, or we shouldn't finish lower than 6th. But we'll wait and see what happens in the Cologne game coming up. They have to win to go back level with us as well. But we play Bayer 04. At a minimum, if we win the next game, we finish 5th. Now, the board don't think that 5th is good enough, even though the current vision of the club, I believe that they want me this year they're not judging, but they want us to, by the end of the 2021-22 season, to be on course to try and qualify for the Champions League. So I would imagine if we finish 5th, 6th, 7th, we shouldn't be judged on that at all. and we should only be judged on this one here. Now, however, if we can somehow, though, qualify this season for the Champions League, that should tick off next year's one as well, and I would imagine the board still wants us to finish top 4 anyway. But what it allows me to do is that in the window, I should be able to bring some players over and in, depending on how much money we get, because we will have, Champions League football to sell to them. And that could be massive as well. But yeah, look, Bayer 04, they're a team in good form. They're a team that just beat Union Berlin 1-0. And Union Berlin, who Leipzig play away from home, they've had an unreal year. Leipzig are a great side, but if Berlin could do me a favour, if we can beat Bayer 04, it is possible for Champions League football on the final day. And you'll see that here in just a second, YouTube. Let me know where we're going to finish. What's the score prediction for the Bayer 04 game? Give me a timestamp. Give me a little comment down below. And if you're enjoying the rise of a nation with SFB, if you're enjoying that, go watch that. That's a great series. But if you're enjoying the Dortmund rebuild here, please give it a like and go subscribe to the channel because it is much appreciated. Bayer 04, 7 days time. See you then. Let's go win and hopefully maybe sneak into the Champions League. Welcome back, YouTube. It is now time for match day 34, the final match day of the Bundesliga. A win today, we would jump our opponents, Bayer Leverkusen 04, at a minimum. And if we do win today and Leipzig fail to beat Union Berlin, we would jump them in 4th spot. The reason why is Leipzig draw and we win, we would have a better goal difference and jumping. And if they lose, we would obviously go ahead by our point. It is up to us to do our part if we want Champions League football this year. If we want it, we have to go out there and win this game. The only suspension news for us is that Emre Can's out. That's okay. And if you're looking at everything else, look, I think we will be able to go out there and get a result. It's also important that we do not lose today because if we do lose, Cologne would jump us. And if we do draw, we need Cologne not to win on the final day to send us into 7th and all of a sudden the Euro 2 place. I think a win is paramount. A win at a minimum is 5th. And look, 5th wouldn't be a bad result considering when I joined the club, we were in 9th before I kicked off my first ever match. Look, for me, I will hope we will go out there and do really well. And I'm hoping it will go our way today. Zagadou 900% fit. Akanji's going to come straight back in here for him as well. But apart from that, Haaland has the injection. He is obviously suffered a twisted ankle in the last game out, which I did mention, obviously, against Mainz. But look, apart from that, the rest of the team is going in as we like. Renier's been in great form. He's going to be preferred over Jude Bellingham. I preferred the two together, but it is what it is. Berkey in with Munier, Kanji Hummels, and Rafael Guerrero is fit and firing, ready to start for today's game. Witsel, Renier, Makoku's been absolutely sensational since I've come in and joined as Dortmund manager. Royce has also been sensational since his injury and has looked amazing in the shadow striker role. Sancho, and of course Haaland has been named Player of the Year here in Germany, which is an odd time to name it before the final match days kick off. Anyway, we are going to go out there. Hopefully we do play well. I predict we win, but I predict Leipzig beat Berlin and we finish 5th and get Europa League football, and I'm all okay with that. Look, they're going to be very, very good. They've got a very good team. You got Leon Bailey, Vinicius Jr.'s there on loan, Schick. Everybody knows about Schick. Hardecki's a decent keeper at this level. Lars Bender, Jonathan Tah, other Bender as well. They're going to be very, very good. And that's the thing. Leipzig were very, very good and we were lucky to draw. We're also unlucky probably not to find a winner when we did get it back to 4-4. But the same thing can be said about Bayer 04. They're a team that, Leon Bailey is pretty incredible. He's pretty elite. Vinicius Jr. obviously is here on loan and he's a wonder kid and a half. We know that. Schick. Everybody knows Schick and, knows the quality he has. And even Palacios through the middle, the Argentinian, has been capped at a young age. Is very good as well. And you look at that bench, Karim Bellarabi is on the bench. He's experienced, knows how to do a job, and hopefully will be okay. And Paulinho there is a winger that knows what he's doing as well. Hardecki's Hardecki. They've got a good team, is what I'm trying to say. If they play to the best of their abilities, we're going to be up against it here today, but hopefully we're going to be able to do what we need to do. The team at Itchin set a record straight. We deserve to qualify, is what I will say as well, because we do. I've come in, I haven't lost the game as manager, and we'll be okay. Also got a message there on my Outlook, and we'll see what happens. Oh, it's still going at 10x speed, considering we changed that after the mains highlights. Apologies, and we still are in 3D. Well, we just seen what's happened there, but we will go and just go back 10 seconds. And here we are. So backstep ball by Rafael Guerrero, and we know Hummel's about to header this in. And as things stand, it doesn't even look like it really went over the line, to be fair, but in the 2D, but apparently it has. We'll see it again in 3D in just a second as well. Hopefully, we can continue to, push on from this 1-goal lead and fire ourselves into the Europa League at a minimum. In the end, Hardecki doesn't do enough. 3D, it looks like it's gone over the line there, right? And then it's come back out. But it is what it is. Anyway, 3 minutes in, we've got ourselves a 1-0 lead. And away we go. My TV's turned back on by itself. That's really weird. Unless my cat has jumped up and pressed the spacebar button. If you can hear that in the background, apologies. But as you can see, as it stands, with Leipzig drawing away against Berlin, we would finish fourth and top this little group of ours. With obviously, that's a mistake. Oh, it nearly fell to us. We'll finish top of this little group of Leipzig, Borough, 4, Cologne, and ourselves. Anyway, Vinicius Jr. finds Leon Bailey on the break. What a save by Berkey. He needs to get back there, and he doesn't. And it's 1-1 just like that. Against the runner play, it was a mistake by Hardecki. The shot was blocked by Haaland in the 6-yard box. And right down the other end, it's 1-1. And we move back into 6th spot. In the end, look, a good ball by Vinicius Jr. Berkey makes a very good save. How on earth does the ball bounce there from that sort of save? I don't know. Berkey, unfortunately, can't get back to deal with it. And it is 1-1. And to be fair to Bayer Leverkusen, they probably have deserved at least to get back into this. Anyway, long throw. Royce, does he come for it? He does. Unfortunately, Hardecki comes harder and gets there first with the leap, as you do expect for keepers to do. Anyway, Guerrero wins that back. Mokoku looks inside. Haaland touches. Playing with the injection, he scores again. He's 26 for the year. And in the end, it's a massive goal for us because it puts us back into 4th spot, as there hasn't been a goal in the Leipzig Union Berlin game. There has been, actually. Leipzig have just scored themselves. So at the moment, we're playing off for 5th as things stand. Haaland with a great touch. In the end, with that touch, Haaland slots, and it has looked really, really, really good. 2-1 to the door, 2-1 to the good here. Time is ticking, and hopefully we can continue to, keep playing in the same way and find ourselves a 3rd. As you can see, we are in 5th as the table's all updating with all the results going on at the moment. Haaland gets there first. Munier still wants it, gets it. Hit that first time, son. He didn't. Hits it second time, blocked. It needed to be hit first time before someone come on top of him. Haaland, Mokoku, what a save, Hardecki. In the end, Haaland jumped, but fell over the back, and Mokoku out at the back stick nearly fired us into a 3-1 lead. The Bayer 04 goalkeeper, as they made a mess at that corner. That was one of the worst corners you'll see. The boys looked really decent so far, but Hardecki, what a save, what a moment to keep him in it. Anyway, St. Graven gets the ball. Mokoku eventually gets moving after that. Seemed like he stayed down for a little bit there. Anyway, Demabe into Schick, and this is where they're dangerous. Schick now running with a big ball at the Leon Bailey. Just like that. It is absolutely horrid, and it is 2-2. Oh. Thank you. Thanks. Don't mind me, I just got my Uber Eats. Anyway, good ball by Demabe in the Schick. Schick now with the ball over to Leon Bailey. And he's looked really good, Leon Bailey. We've been hit on the break twice. We've been sucker punched a little bit. Because we haven't been that bad. We've dominated the game. We deserve to be in the lead. But just at the back, a little bit suspect. Anyway, Witzel can hit one from distance. Doesn't do. Kanji, I don't want you to hit it, that's for sure. Finds a Renya who does well to get back into an on-side position. His ball in. Mokoku blocked. It's another block shot by Bayer Leverkusen. Oh my, we have absolutely dominated that half of football, and we are somehow 2-2 here. We've had 12 shots, 5 on target. They've done not much just on the break, but Leipzig are 2-0 up, so we're playing for 5th. We really need to finish 5th. In the end, we need something. We have dominated this game, yet just at the back. How is the back four and the keeper having a good game out there? Because they're not. Pause. All right, Jude Bellingham is a bit more forward-thinking, and he's coming in as well. First change here. We need something from somewhere. 70 minutes played. Time ticks. It looks like they've started to set up shop for the starting to set up shop for the draw. I might as well just load it in so I learn this tactic anyway. But the SFB 4-1-3-2. We need a goal. Bellingham's going to go into there. Renier's going to come out wide. Sancho into there. And Mokoku up top. I really do rate that. I am going to get Forgan Hazard in for Renier. Just a little bit extra pace. I'm going to leave Royce out there because I know he's not having the best of game, but he can do it. Just leaving a change because if we do score, we will move back into the 4-2-3-1 and make a defensively minded change. Anyway, we win the ball back high, which is what this system's all about. And Guerrero chips towards Haaland, doesn't win. Tar now, that's a little bit lucky. It's fallen to Hazard. Hazard, Forgan, oh my God, straight at the keeper. Straight at the keeper, Forgan Hazard. Sancho looks a little bit legless. Time ticks. Is there going to be a last chance for us to fire one to get into fifth? Hardecki, Bender. Into Palacios. Hardecki again. Still going. Jonathan Tah. Into... I cannot pronounce that at all. Palacios. I can't pronounce most things, to be fair. St. Gravian I can pronounce, and Jonathan Tah, I know. Vinicius Jr. now. Good well built out here from Barrow 4. They've done nothing this half. You watch them score right now because they've done nothing this whole half. Anyway, Vinicius Jr. hit effort straight at the keeper. Surely that's not the highlight, right? That is ridiculous. If that's the highlight, that's ridiculous. We didn't need to see that. Why get my hopes up? Anyway, there's a highlight here, but this could be a pointless one, or it's going to be a highlight for them at the moment when they're on the ball. We need it back. Leon Bailey running inside. Not enough pressure from anyone really. In the back four, bit too deep for this system. Palacios now. Bailey. It's going to be a goal for them or nothing. We need the ball back. Munier clears. That's game over. That's all she wrote. That's going to be a draw. How are we drawing this game of football? How have we drawn this game of football? That is disappointing. 16 shots, 6 on target, led twice. They have an expected goal ratio of 0.6 and 2 are flown in. We really deserve to have won that game of football. Really did. It's going to cost us. That one there, the Werder Bremen result. We were up 2-0 and conceded 2 goals. That one hurts. We finished 6th. Equal points of Cologne as well. We're lucky Cologne drew to Schalke 0-0. It's just that one hurts. We qualified for the Euro Cup as well, which is great. Real Madrid and Bayern are paying. That is a pretty big Europa League final. That makes no sense at all. That's weird that those two teams are there as well. But yeah, we get 58 million for finishing 6th, which is huge. Now, look, we haven't lost as Dortmund manager yet, which is really good. We're just going to sim forward here a few days, see if there's any piece of information that we're going to go through. But it is what it is. Finish 6th. We've got to go through qualifying. I think qualifying isn't the worst thing in the world. You know, they're not judging us on this season. Obviously, they're on course for us to try and qualify for the Champions League next year, which is cool. So I don't think there's really too much going on. There's going to be an end of season meeting, etc., etc. And I think we will show you that in this end of this episode as well. I'm just going to see if it comes up here today. If not, I'll definitely get to it as well. Here it is anyway, the new arrivals. None of this is my stuff anyway. You know, Giddens looked unreal. But, you know, none of these guys is anything I did. Like, I would not have loaned Renier at all. Transfers in the outs, nothing I've done. You know, some, you know, big money for Julian Brandt. It wasn't me that sold him. It was the AI. But yeah, look, this season results, it's more about what we did after they lost to, what was our first game that we played? I know we drew to Werder Bremen 2-2, and we won 6-2, 5-0, 2-0 against Cologne. So from Cologne onwards, we did not lose. We won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We won 5 games and drew 1, 2, 3, 4. And out of those 4 that we drew, it's probably the Leipzig and the Bayer Leverkusen games that we drew that were like, yeah, whatever. Wolfsburg, well, I can't remember the Wolfsburg game to be honest, but I know the Werder Bremen game we got absolutely FM'd. We could turn one of those games into a win. Leipzig, 10 minutes to go, make it 4-4 against 10 men. We score 5-4 win, or we hold on for 2-0 here and don't concede 2 late goals. You know, that's the difference here between finishing 5th and 6th, and arguably could be the difference between us pushing for a Champions League spot instead of finishing in the Europa League. But look, we did okay. The board wasn't judging me on any of these at all. But yeah, look, it's okay. I don't mind being in the Europa League, that's for sure. By the way, the goal Mokoku scored against Mainz, which I said was an absolute was a peach. Is goal of the year, which is nice as well. Look, nothing here for us to really talk about. Haaland, Royce, Sancho, Hazard, Hummels. It's kind of what you expect. Hazard surprised me a little bit, but yeah, look, it is what it is. The team lined up pretty well. They lined up in a 4-3-3 is generally what the AI played throughout the year, and we're obviously lined up in a 4-2-3-1 at the moment, and we were good. Hummels got fans player of the year. Haaland got young player of the year. Goal of the year was Mokoku, top goal scorer. I think Haaland deserves player of the year as well. Competition awards, if there's any. Haaland got European Golden Boy and German player of the year. Sounds about right. He is really, 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 really... Oh, bored and disappointed. Huh? 10 meeting. What? Why are they getting upset? They literally said that they're not judging me on this year's competition. The board are going off at me here. Alright. We believe it's important to stay on good terms with you and hopefully continue to work together as a team. So they told me that they had no expectations about finishing in the Champions League. I haven't lost a game as Dortmund manager. And they've called me in to go, we haven't finished in the Champions League this year. Ugh. Mate, I've had 9 games, 8 games, whatever it is. If they sacked me, then I would have actually been livid because I put so much time and effort into this save. Wow, that could have been an interesting end there. Like, end of the 2021-22 season. We're about to get started in that next year. Dumb game. Far out. Yes, accept the current vision. Far out. That was horrid. All right, discuss the plans for next season. Reading the cards, and I've been really encouraged by the way you've all taken to attempt to implement our style of play, and I think we could take a step further and come back from pre-season training. What? Well, we've won every game. We haven't won every game. We haven't lost the game. All right, well, we turned it around a little bit there, but far out, man. How much more to the system? I've come in, I've coached for 9 times. We haven't lost the game. We play teams around us and we did not lose. Imagine what happens when we come back pre-season, we work on the system again. We would be unreal. No? That is stupid. All right, the AI is having a bit of a laugh here the last little bit of this episode. But there we are. All right, so we got money back in the club. We got 92 in the balance. We're predicted to have a transfer budget of 53 million. Before we leave, you got to remember on the ins, we got John Stones, Eric Garcia. I signed Stones. Garcia's coming in on a free, which is good business anyway. And I signed Gabriel Barbosa on big money to come in and play on the right wing. And he's got 8 goals in 12 appearances in Brazil. And hopefully, the guy can come in and do a really, really, really good job. Look, for me, I think we're going to be okay. I'm glad we didn't lose our job then. That would have been crazy. But look, finishing 6th, a little disappointing, especially in the fact that we dominated Biro 4 in that last game. We did not win at all. Also disappointing for the fact that, we drew against Werder Bremen in the run-in as well. And, you could say in a lot of those games that we drew when we were in charge, we really could have done better. Next time you see us, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we will, of course, be at the start of the new season. You'll see match day number 1, whoever we get drawn against, all the new transfers, and hopefully we have also some qualifying news that we've qualified for the group stage of the Europa League. From Damien and everybody else here, that ends season 1. Next episode will be the start of our first full season in charge, season 2 here at Dortmund in the rebuild of BVB. If you are enjoying the save, you enjoyed season 1, please like and subscribe to the YouTube channel and let me know in the comment section down below who you would sign to help Dortmund at the minute. I think we need a right back, a goalkeeper, and probably another centre back. But you let me know what you think Dortmund need at the minute. And of course, always give me a prediction for how we're going to finish next season, both in Europe and of course in the Bundesliga. See you then, thank you, and goodbye.